What is going on, everybody? We're here. We're live for Sports Wars Sunday. And I'm joined, as always, by Fear the Beardo. What's up, man?
Nothing much. Baseball's here. Been watching some spring training the past 2 days. That's pretty much all that's going on. And hockey. We watched the hockey game the other night, and that was really exciting, although it wasn't the result that we all were hoping for. It was still a good game.
Well, look, NBA is still going on, man. LeBron's hunting for more records, including most turnovers in history of the NBA. So, I mean, come on, there's still.
Well, you guys know me. I'm a huge NBA guy. I love the NBA guy. And a huge hockey guy. Now I am, dude. I've been watching hockey too.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how essentially the difference between All-Star weekends for the NBA and the NHL went vastly different this last weekend, including in the ratings department and the reception from the specific fan bases involved. But we're also joined by John Matrix of Black and White Sports. What's up, John?
Oh, not much, man. Not much. I'm enjoying the weekend over here. Rainy, cloudy. Really can't go out, so watched a lot of TV this weekend.
Oh, there you go. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But yes, before the stream even started, McCawk came in and dropped 50 Sports Wars memberships, 50 from McCawk.
Let's go.
Everybody's going to turn green in the chat there. Everybody's going to turn green. Thank you very much, McCawk. Zenny Biscuit. Japan is looking to send Luxor Cafe to Kentucky. He's the son of a 2015 Grand Slam winner, American Pharoah. I do remember American Pharoah.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sure his seed got spread across the racing world after winning all three of those. So very cool, Zenny Biscuit. Thank you for the horse racing info. Zenny Biscuit keeps us up to date on
every week.
We need to know in the horse racing community because I am clueless when it comes to that. B. Jane, long live the Hartford Whalers. NBA is NB gay. Connecticut Sun are not a professional sports team. Bring the NHL back to Hartford, you cowards. Well, I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon, but you can always get your hopes up, B-Chain. You can always get your hopes up. Dom H. Member for 18 months says, hello, Ryan. All right, I promised Dom that he gave me a Yankees hat, and I'm supposed to wear it at some point on stream. I will do that. Dom, I promise I will do that. I just have to find it. I'm still unpacking all my shit, but I will wear your dumbass Yankees hat. I'm allowed to now. He's got to
find it. I'm
allowed to now because, I could have a beard with the Yankees, apparently.
Yep.
This is one of the biggest stories out of baseball, to be honest, over the past couple days. And obviously it's spring training, guys are getting in there for a couple innings, starting off work, stuff like that, looking forward to the regular season. But yeah, the Yankees came out with really a game-changing thing for the longest time. It's been well known. If you play for the Yankees, you're not going to have facial hair. If you have long hair, you're going to cut it. You're going to look cleaned up. You're going to look nice. Like that's been the thing for the Yankees for a century. And all of that has changed. They're now relaxing their grooming standards, Beardo.
Yeah. I believe that they could have a mustache, a groom mustache, and that was pretty much it since, I think it was over 50 years since like the late 60s, early 70s. Yeah. But yeah, just a few days ago, Hal Steinbrenner said, it's come to my attention that maybe certain players, free agents, don't want to sign with the Yankees because they're bearded and they can get the same amount of money with another team and not have to shave their beard. Their beard is their identity. And Steinbrenner's like, we don't want to miss out on talent, is kind of what he said in his statement. And, it may be that the clean-shaven rule was a little outdated. So Yankees players are now allowed to have beards. Well-groomed beards is what he said. So we'll see exactly what that looks like. And if certain Yankees players maybe try to take advantage of how much beard they can grow. But I think this is a win, man. I think this is a win. I always kind of thought the well-groomed, like the clean-shaven policy for the Yankees was a little gay, but I understand it's tradition. But come on, man. Let the men grow their fucking beards out.
It's one of those difficult things, right? Where back in the 60s and 70s and 80s, people didn't really have beards, right? It just wasn't super common. Now it's become, obviously you and me both have beards, Beardo. It's become a little bit more like not just acceptable, but a lot of people have facial hair, a lot of people have beards. And I didn't mind it because it did seem like something special, something harkening back to tradition, the old time of baseball. And it's not like I really cared. Obviously, I don't think that, no one should have beards. I fucking have one. But there did seem something a little bit special about it in a way. And I get it, though. There's a lot of guys who, hey, they might be offering the same amount of money or whatever. Do I really want to go play if I have to completely change the way that I look? And I do think part of me, whatever. It's big. Now, Aaron Judge did come out and announce he ain't fucking changing. He's staying clean shaven. So
no, that's his business. Overall, and I think Stephen A. brought this up, and I kind of agree with him on this. The reason why this may be happening now, the Yankees are not winning. They haven't won a World Series in 16 years. That's a long time by their standards. Okay. Other teams have won, and he's probably not wrong about that. In addition to, I believe beers are always cool.
Well, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like you see a lot of, playoff teams with playoff beards. It was kind of like a hockey thing, but it's become a baseball thing in the last 20 years.
It has been. A bunch of players and teams have done that.
Yep.
And the Yankees, though, they have been in a drought when it comes to World Series. Is this actually going to help them win a World Series? No, not really. I mean, also you get taxed a lot in New York too, by the way. So, I mean, if you want to keep your beer, you can go to some tax-free state and play there too as well.
Yeah, but I do, like, I don't know how many free agent signings they're truly missing out on, right?
I don't think any.
Only they would know, right? Only they would really have an idea of the amount of people they feel like they couldn't get there specifically because of that. It's probably not an extremely high number. But if they do think it's affected them at all, I get making the change. It's this constant battle of modernizing a sport versus the tradition of the sport. And in this case, it's just one very specific team with the Yankees. And they're saying, hey, fuck tradition. It's time to win.
Yeah.
And
I don't think George, if he was still alive, he wouldn't have changed.
Oh,
but also,
but
also, George was a much better running the Yankees than his kids too.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can look at a lot of decisions that he made. Obviously, they won a fuck ton of championships.
A lot with him.
90s, 2000, all that stuff.
70s.
In this, yeah, exactly. But you can definitely look at some questionable decisions, just like you can from any owner, especially one that's that notable. Right? There's a lot of owners that we don't even know their fucking names in sports.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. Of course, you're going to always have the Jerry Jones out there who are very much vocal, very much at the center. A guy who was very successful in the 90s, but has not been since. And as a result, you're going to get a lot more of the blame when things go wrong and a lot more of the credit if things go right. And that's just kind of the way it is.
Now, if Hal Steinbrenner decides, we're going to put last names on the back of our jerseys, then people will fucking riot.
Probably true.
I almost wish they really would put names. I like the names on the back of jerseys, but I understand Yankees been around forever. They've never done it. I always like the names on back of jerseys. That's just me.
That's the one Yankees tradition that I actually do enjoy, that I respect, is not putting the names on the back of jerseys.
Yeah, Red Sox are the same way. I don't think they have names on the back of jerseys.
At home.
At home?
Okay. At home only, yeah. And same thing with the San Francisco Giants. When they're at home, they don't have it's just the numbers, but when they travel, they put the names on the back of the jerseys.
Stephen De Leon, 2 gays and a black man. That's what we could rename the show, Stephen.
Yeah.
McCock, I don't get a 50 from Beardo.
McCock, earlier to start the show with a 50 gifted memberships. Thank you, McCock.
There you go. Chris Graham, when's the last time Canada won the cup? The Stanley Cup? Like, you mean a team from Canada winning? Probably like the 90s or something, right?
Ooh, that's a great question.
When was the last time a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup? It's been a very, very long time. 93, the Canadians.
93. Wow.
Yeah. The Montreal Canadiens won in 1993. And obviously there's far more teams. It is the NHL. It's our fucking league. We just allow some of you Canadians to actually have teams too. But yes, I mean, it's not super shocking that that's necessarily the case just because of the numbers factor, but it has been a long time. JWT6577 for 5. The NHL isn't going to be able to do anything with this win. It's almost impossible to watch an NHL game. They'll continue to live at the bottom. I don't know.
I don't agree with that.
I think that this is a close the gap scenario. I'm not saying that all of a sudden the NHL is going to just climb up and be the second most popular sport. However, it's kind of impossible to ignore what we just witnessed over the past weekend. Mm-hmm. Both NHL and NBA seasons run over pretty much the same general time frame for the regular season. As a result, their all-star breaks are typically around the same time as well. And instead of getting the NHL All-Star game this year, we got the Four Nations face-off matched up against the NBA All-Star game. And to say that hockey dominated would be an understatement. Not only did they dominate when it came in the ratings department and the reception from the fan base and the excitement surrounding it, but they doubled the NBA All-Star Game ratings.
Yep.
Look at these numbers that just came in a little while ago. And I want to share the whole screen because we have some audio we have to play as well. But check this out. Canada-USA Four Nations Face-Off Final made staggering hockey ratings history.
Mm-hmm.
Not just the most viewed Four Nations Face-Off, whatever. It was the most viewed hockey game since like the 2019 Stanley Cup Finals. Yep. The NHL sanctioned Canada-USA final drew 9.3 million viewers on ESPN, which surpassed the NHL record of 9.8 million viewers in the 2019 Stanley Cup, according to Front Office Sports. Additionally, Sportsnet averaged 5.7 million viewers in Canada. Grand total more than 15 million viewers across North America. Compare that to effectively the lowest rated NBA All-Star game in history at 4.7 million viewers. They completely and totally dominated and embarrassed them. And not just that, but the product itself, the way the fans were talking about it, the way people were tweeting about it on social media, put it on Instagram, whatever you want to talk. Hockey dominated. And it's something that we've never really seen before to this level. And it's a result of, one, them focusing on this national pride stuff, combating against U.S. and Canada with all the tensions that are going on right now. And just the reality that the NBA has become a shell of its former self. Mm-hmm. And, we watched the Four Nations face off a little bit. We did a watch party over on Locals Beardo. You guys can go check that out. Become a member of Geeks Gamers Locals. Take part in some of those watch parties that we do. But I'm not a big hockey guy. You're not a big hockey guy. It was an awesome event. It
was incredible. It felt like Olympics light, I guess. It kind of felt like the World Baseball Classic a little bit, but a lot more important. And I think that the championship was so hyped up because their previous meeting a few days before that was so exciting, and there was a lot of fights. There was a lot of tension because the game was in Canada and they booed the American national anthem. So they dropped the gloves right away and they started fighting in their first matchup. And then just like 4 or 5 days later, they're playing each other again in the championship, and the hype on social media was freaking crazy for the game.
Yeah. And I think truly one of the reasons people think this could be good for the NHL, and it's not to say the NHL is suddenly going to become the most popular sport or anything, but because of the current state of the NBA. And you had PK Subban, a former hockey player who's on ESPN as an analyst. He went on First Take and basically trashed LeBron James and the NBA product as a big reason for why people paid more attention to this. I'm sure you guys saw this.
Oh, two things, your teammates and the fans. And I'm sorry, it doesn't matter how much money you're making. When you do not show up to play, you're letting your teammates down. When you do not show up to play, you're letting the fans down that are paying you 40, 50, 60 million. I don't care if you're getting 300 million. Congratulations. But these people in here are paying $2,500 a ticket, $5,000, that are blue-collared, hardworking people. If you don't get your head wrapped around that, you shouldn't be in pro sports, because how are we going to grow? How do we expect you to be an example? Well, guess what? You don't want to be. You are one. You're on the biggest stage.
Now, this is directly in response to LeBron James' bitch ass at the last moment sitting out of the NBA All-Star game, right? That's why he's talking about this, and he compares it to Jordan and Kobe doing whatever they could to put on shows for fans. This entire era of the NBA, I think in large part due to LeBron James, has become a massive turnoff to a lot of longtime sports fans because of this. Yep. You know this, John. Like, the idea that all these guys are just fucking buddy and joining up with each other, switching teams on a fucking whim, combined with everybody sitting out, everybody getting rest, it feels like it is the LeBron effect taken to the next level.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I mean, the low management stuff, actually, that really started with the Spurs back during the Tim Duncan years where, well, we're just going to relax for the playoffs, and that started catching on. And the NBA All-Star game, and this is probably more on Adam Silver and the owners, for them to destroy the East versus West and now have pickup basketball, this is a whole new low right here. These players don't care. What it's really going to take to get the NBA All-Star game to really, I believe, come back and get interested, the winners on the All-Star team are going to have to get like $1 million bonus. They got to play. If they win, they get $1 million. If they lose, they get nothing. And that will incentivize, because these players love their money. It's going to take a financial incentive to get these players in the NBA to play the All-Star game and play to win.
And if you don't think that LeBron has anything to do with this attitude, I want you to listen to Stephen A. Smith talk about how at the last All-Star game, they tried desperately to get these players, these current day NBA players, to realize that they had to actually care about this, that it was like a necessary thing. You have to go out there. You have to try. You have to put forth your effort because the fans are counting on you. They had Larry Bird and Dr. J go in there to talk to these players.
What?
And who undercut all of everything that they said? LeBron fucking James. Listen to this.
Brought up the slam dunk contest. They talk about that. We all brought up the lackadaisical effort that they put forth for the All-Star game on Sunday for All-Star weekend. You think they don't look at LeBron James? Larry Bird and Dr. J and them come in and talk to the team last year, and they think that they've touched the pulse of the players and all of this stuff. And then they say, you know what? LeBron just gave a side eye to everybody else. And the next thing you know, they went out there and allowed 400 points damn near to be scored, putting forth no effort whatsoever. It may not have been his fault, but they didn't view it that way.
Yeah. Like that.
Wow.
This is LeBron's example, right? The guy, the face of the NBA, the old veteran. He is the one telling no one to give a fuck about this. And then he displays that he doesn't give a fuck about it.
This is the reason why the NBA has lost 50% of his audience. This is part of the reason why.
Yeah, it is LeBron. Like, it is impossible to look at LeBron's effect and impact that he's had on the league, on the way players behave, on the way players act. And it may not have been intentional, like anything like this, but there's no doubt that they're following an example, and the example is from LeBron James, and it has been to the detriment of the NBA. Now, can hockey potentially capitalize on something like this? Maybe. And I'm not saying it's suddenly going to snap your fingers and all of a sudden, NHL is just going to be super highly rated. But I do think, especially an event like this, it can draw more eyes consistently. And especially if people are maybe turned off by the NBA product with NHL going on at exactly the same time, they are direct competitors. Maybe people saying, hey, I'm going to take a look at some of these guys. I like seeing this guy. Let me turn into an NHL game of his. And I do think overall it's a net positive for the NHL. Whether they can take advantage of that remains to be seen.
I think they're going to see an uptick in viewership in the NHL for sure, and especially when we get closer to the Stanley Cup playoff. I think a lot more people are going to tune in to see that level of hockey. I know I sure am, because I'll admit I'm not the biggest hockey fan, but after watching that,
Me neither.
And then having Tommy Tron, kind of preaching to me and Ryan, dude, hockey's fucking back, man. Hockey is great. You guys need to jump on the bandwagon, because hockey is on the way up. And after watching that, I'm like, shit, he might be right. This is fucking incredible. So I'm going to be paying a lot more attention.
Fuck LeBron James, by the way.
Fuck LeBron James.
Just want to put that out there, like, as if we didn't say it enough. We always have to make sure we get our fuck LeBron James segment in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, where are we? Cole Hauser, hockey is Canada. Canada is hockey, period. I agree. Listen, we understand that your country only has like a handful of things. Yes, sports that happen to be played on ice. That's like the one thing you guys are good at, and making maple syrup, apparently. But thank you, Cole Hauser. And then Cole Hauser says, go Yankees. You're a Yankees fan? You're not a Toronto Blue Jays fan or something? Cole Hauser then says Russia should have been included. Would make for interesting national tensions, that's for sure.
It would have.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
McCock, my dad says back in the 90s in San Antonio, the hockey teams would just get drunk and fight each other on the ice, not even play. I mean, that sounds kind of fun to watch too, I suppose. Thank you, McCock. Chief slinging beef for $5. Bought a new truck this week and talked them off a few grand. Beardo, nice golf stream, fig jam. I'd like to play IRL sometimes. Ryan, yeah. John, salute.
Thank you for the $5.
You ever played golf, Beardo?
Yeah. I've played a few rounds, but mostly I'm fucking terrible. So I just like going to Top Golf, drinking some beers, and just fucking launching golf balls.
There you go.
That's my type of golf.
I'm terrible at Top Golf. I mean, this one company I worked for like 10 years ago took us to Top Golf. I was terrible. I've been there like 2 or 3 times. I can't swing a golf club at all. I suck.
Yeah, I think Top Golf's fun. It's like
I love Top Golf, man.
It is fun.
It's like a mix. It's like bowling, basically. It's the way it feels, right?
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the scoring system and stuff, they can make it so even people that are fucking shitty actually might have a chance points wise, depending if you put a couple in a row and if someone's going for the long bombs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's what I do. I just try to fucking crank them.
Usually when we go out and we do stuff with like Geeks and Gamers or whatever, we end up going to Top Golf. I typically get the fucking left-handed clubs and play with those for a challenge because everybody else is trash, honestly. And I'm decent lefty. I can just I can pull out like a 7-iron left-handed and put it in like that grand, aim for the green one out there. Choom, choom, choom. Otherwise, I'm just fucking around. Stephen De Leon, I'd rather listen to Beardo read super chats or Gary do an ad read than watch the NBA. Shout out West Texas. Hashtag Bills Mafia. Stephen De Leon rules all.
Oh,
here's the thing about the NBA is depending on the teams, the regular season can be a slog. I still think that NBA playoff basketball, it feels like a completely different game because when it's the playoffs, it actually matters. And all these teams are playing defense. All these teams are fucking actually putting forth the effort. No one's resting, all this stuff. So I actually do think from a watching basketball standpoint, the playoffs are still a good product. But the problem is they lose so many people along the way. And that's one of the major problems that the NBA is going to have to work through. But speaking of all these different sports, we've got baseball starting back up. NBA is in full swing. A lot more people are now paying attention to hockey. And even though football season is over, Prize Picks is still here, and Prize Picks is still a sponsor for Geeks and Gamers. So we want to give a big shout out to them and talk a little bit about Prize Picks. We talked about them a lot during the football season. Football season's over, but Prize Picks is still going to be around. What is Prize Picks, you ask? Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players per shot to win up to $1,000 your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. So one of the interesting things is you've got baseball, right? You got baseball coming up, even spring training baseball. You can get in on some of the action on Prize Picks. NHL, if there's some players that you saw in the Four Nations face-off, if you think, even when it's time on ice, even if it's more or less face-offs ones by guys like Connor McDavid or Sidney Crosby, you got those available on Prize Picks. One of my favorite ones, LeBron is not playing tonight, but he will be playing, in an upcoming day or two. We were just complaining about his schedule the other day. You can even figure out if LeBron's going to have more or less turnovers than the posted line, which I think is absolutely amazing because I, for one, am always rooting for LeBron James to turn the ball over. Prize Picks is the best way to get on the action in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, Georgia, and Florida. It's invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to get that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And I know me and Beardo have been playing a lot here and there, especially during football season. Now that baseball season is up, we've got hockey, we've got basketball. There's still a lot of time to get in on the action when it comes to Prize Picks. And I want to make sure that you guys get that $50 instantly. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code GG to get $50 instantly when you play $5. Again, download Prize Picks, use code GG, and get $50 instantly when you play $5. We've also got the link in the description of this stream. So big shout out to Prize Picks, whether you're a baseball guy, whether you're into NASCAR, tennis, golf, really doesn't matter. Prize Picks has got something for you. So big shout out to them for sure. Prize Picks, run your game. So there we go.
Hell yeah.
So even if you want to root against LeBron, there's stuff you can do there, which I think is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you all know, we root against LeBron James here on Sports Wars. I just got something in my eye.
One of my favorite props, one of my favorite, fantasy picks on Prize Picks last year was anytime Dak Prescott interception. And then he got injured, and then it turned into Jordan Love or Geno Smith interception.
That's right. Yeah, Jordan Love more than half an interception. Yeah.
Yep, and it always hit.
Typically did. Man, those graphs that people make of rushing yards or defensive yards given up or whatever. They showed the interceptions this year, and Kirk Cousins, a 3-game thing, just whoop, right up to that 14, 15, 16 interception level, whatever that was. I think it was Baker and Geno by the end of the year.
Leading
Baker
interceptions.
And Geno tied for the league leading interceptions.
It sounds about right. Yeah.
But the difference was Baker had 43 touchdowns with it.
Yeah.
If the Buccaneers had a better season, Baker would have been in that MVP conversation.
Easily.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had a great year, and I don't think we expected that type of year from Baker this year.
Yeah. And if Mike Evans and Chris Godwin could have stayed healthy all year, he might have even had more touchdowns. He could have had 50 touchdowns.
100%. Ryan, have your very obvious relative that plays for the Colorado Avalanche sign a jersey for me. Just leave it on the couch. I don't know who that is. You're constantly tagging me and this guy together. Blue-eyed Scorpion, no one fucking pays attention to it. tagged me on Twitter with it all the time. I don't know him. I don't know the man. But thank you. Mick Walsh, LeChina and Adam Silver has cheapened the NBA. Yeah, Adam Silver's decisions to allow the players to essentially have their way and run the NBA has been incredibly detrimental to the NBA. Maybe not to the players. For the players that are there, it probably has been incredibly advantageous from the money they're making to the sponsorships they get, their brands, them just being big social media stars, whatever. It's probably worked out very well for them. But for the fan base and the audience and the long-term health of the NBA, it has not been a good thing. It's been abysmal for them. Fucking Adam Silver, who looks like a fucking cock. Literally. And then Connor Akers for 5. You think there's a correlation in the NBA's embrace of wokeness with the boring play style and load management that has gone in recent years? I don't think it's a I don't think that embrace of wokeness has anything to do with the style of play and everything, but I do think that it's all of these factors combined. It's not just that they put Black Lives Matter on the fucking floor. It's not just that they kneeled for the national anthem. It's not just that LeBron and a handful of others were very outspoken about everything going on in politics. It's not just the style of play, the lack of defensive effort. It's not just the buddy nature of all of these guys who are willing to change teams at the drop of a hat to team up with old rivals to try to make it easier for themselves. It's not just all of these things. It's a combination. What were you saying, John?
Like you're saying, I was saying that it's a whole bunch of things. I mean, the first thing was really the load management. That started about 20 years ago. And then you started having a 3-point shot get out of hand like about 10 years ago. And then they started getting more outspoken politically. Pop started speaking politics a lot. Then before you know it, you lost half the audience.
And they were calling the owners like
governors instead of owners. They thought it was racist.
It was racist
to call them owners.
Yeah.
Because of slave times, John, don't you know?
It's like you're a plantation owner or something. You have all these NBA players, just doing your.
I think that was Draymond Green that really said that, and then the owners caved to the players. Oh, we're governors, even though they actually spent probably some of them billions of dollars to buy the team. But you mean tell me I don't own the team?
Yeah, no, maybe my Civil War era history is a little bit off, but I don't know if slaves were ever paid $70 million a year.
No.
I don't think they were.
Hey, if so, sign me up for slavery.
Yeah, exactly. Colin
Sign
Kaepernick,
me up
same
for that
thing,
kind of
man.
slavery.
When Colin Kaepernick's compared it to plantation and shit like that, man, there's a lot of people who are lined up to be slaves right now, aren't there? It's weird.
Yep.
God. Cade and the Pistons have been a fun watch. As for hockey, the playoffs blow the regular season out of the water. I think that's the same with every game or with every sport to a certain extent. Obviously, playoff NFL, it means more than regular season. But I will say when it comes to NFL specifically, it has the best regular season because all the games matter so much more.
Yeah.
When you have 82 games in your season or when you have 162 games in your regular season with baseball, every game still matters, but it feels like it matters much, much less.
It does. I mean, NFL, man, if you start off the season 0-2, that's kind of a hole. Not saying that you can't win.
The odds of making the playoffs when you go 0-2 are drastically bad for you.
Right.
Because all of it matters. And yeah, typically young teams like that, look at the Oklahoma City Thunder and what they're doing this year in the Western Conference. I think they're going to come back to earth a little bit in the playoffs, but they play hard. They play really fucking hard because in large part they're a younger team and they've got a lot of hunger and shit like that. Whereas a lot of the veteran teams are kind of laid back. They might not play all their guys. They might not be putting forth all that effort, and they're kind of waiting out till the playoffs.
Yeah. Look at the Rockets, man. The Rockets were terrible for like 4 years. And now they're one of the best records in the NBA right now.
They got Ime Udoka in there.
Yeah, they got Ime Udoka. They're in a slump right now. But that was to be expected.
They got Ime Udoka. It's kind of wild that the Celtics had Ime Udoka. They had a great team. Ime Udoka, fucking vice president's wife, whatever the fuck happened there. They fire him, promote Joe Mazzulla, who it was like nothing, and they fucking win the NBA championship.
Yeah. And we still don't know what happened with Ime exactly.
He was fucking the executive's wife. That's what happened. We all know that. What are you laughing at, Beardo?
I think this was last night during the Rangers and during the Rangers hockey game. One of the broadcasters got hit in the face with a puck and yelled, "Oh, fuck!" live on the broadcast.
Let's play it. Let's see.
All right, let me pull it up. This is funny as fuck. Here we go. I had to pull it up on Google Chrome. Here we go. Oh, fuck.
The puck is dropped and it's 4-0. Oh, fuck. Here in the opening period. And Razor just took another one.
Whoa.
And that was a rocket.
He got hit in the nose?
Doctors check.
Yeah.
The puck is dropped and it's 4-0. Oh, fuck. Here in the opening period.
Damn.
And Razor just took another one.
It's the way he said it.
I don't even blame him, man.
Doctors checking Razor out very quickly. That was close to the eye.
Here we go. One more time.
Puck
One more
is
time.
dropped and it's 4-0. Oh, fuck. Here in the opening period.
So this is the guy, right? This is the guy who is down there being able to talk to the teams while they're sitting there on the sideline. Well, sideline guys, right? The benches. Like that's the guy who got hit. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Oh, fuck.
The way he said it, that's wild.
Oh, man.
I probably would have been in tears if I got hit in the face with a hockey puck.
Dangerous down there.
Yeah.
Stephen DeLeon for 2 says, "Go Bills." And then says, "Talk about how the Giants are trash."
Thank you, Steven.
We will. We will talk about how the Giants are trash. Who are they going to draft, Beardo?
I don't know. Travis Hunter, hopefully, if he's available.
Who's going
Like I said, I don't want to draft a quarterback. I don't know. Rumor is that the Steelers and the Giants are the front runners to trade for Matt Stafford. So I'm holding out hope for Matt Stafford, maybe. And fuck it, maybe we'll get Cooper Kupp as well.
Bro, it's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine Matthew Stafford in a Steelers jersey, man. But
Yeah.
I guess that would be kind of crazy. Giants could get Sam Darnold. What do you think about that?
Sam Darnold's going back to the Jets.
I guess he could. He could. Where's Aaron Rodgers going to end up?
LA.
They're just going to trade old
Think
man
so?
for old man.
No, because Stafford's not going to play for the Jets. I don't think, because Stafford,
the Rams are going to trade Rams.
Yeah,
are gonna
yeah,
get rid of
correct.
Stafford, bring in an older Aaron Rodgers.
Correct. I think that's a very strong possibility.
Well, we brought up Ime Udoka and all the things that went down with him that led to him getting fired. Apparently, some affair that happened with the wife of a Celtics executive. Steve Smith Sr. is finding himself in the middle of some considerable drama, which, as of when we started this stream, at least today, he had not commented on. But it's never fun when your private stuff gets out there like that, especially when it's something like this for Steve Smith, former Carolina Panthers and Baltimore Ravens wide receiver. Steve Smith Sr. is accused of having an affair with a Baltimore Ravens employee. A husband of a Baltimore Ravens employee is alleging that former NFL wide receiver Steve Smith Sr. had an affair with his wife. Tony Martinez took to X on Saturday morning to put Smith Sr., now an employee of NFL Network, on blast. In a post that tagged a variety of people, a lot of different people got tagged in this, including TMZ, ESPN, Antonio Brown, Yeti Coolers, and others. Martinez wrote, "My wife works for the Marching Ravens," so the marching band that the Ravens have at their home games. "She met Steve Smith Sr. at work. Steve Smith has been fucking my wife. I got receipts. I got a lot more, homie." Now, of course, leave it to Barstool to put in everything, including the selfies that Steve Smith was sending to this person's wife. About to get a workout in. I'm getting a little chunky. And then some pretty, pretty R-rated text messages right here. I'm not going to read them, but you can read them if you want. Talking about her sucking his dick and all this shit like that, right? This guy then recorded himself calling Steve Smith, and Steve Smith basically stayed silent for 90 seconds of the phone call, other than just to say, "I'm sorry," when confronted with this.
Wow.
Look, these things happen all the time. Affairs occur all the time. People cheat all the time. But when it's a notable person like Steve Smith and somebody finds out and blasts all the intimate details all over online, obviously never where you want to be. He even logged in. I don't know if he logged into his wife's Facebook and says this: "Hi, I'm Nicole Martinez, though I won't be a Martinez much longer. You see, I've been cheating on my husband, and I've been doing so with the very famous Steve Smith Sr." Post all of this stuff, all the selfies they sent each other.
Wow.
Which, this is going to be a meme for a long time. This is going to be, look at this. It's 20 degrees. Then this picture. Turn you over, get deep inside you. It's the very next message from Steve Smith after he sends this very terrible angle selfie. Bro, this is not good for Steve Smith. He has not fucking responded to any of this yet.
He works for NFL Network, right?
He does work for NFL Network. He does work for NFL Network at this point in time. I imagine some sort of statement's going to be out there because you can't just ignore something like this forever. Again, things happen. People cheat on each other. I'm not the moral police. I'm not the moral authority on anything. But when you are a guy like Steve Smith and all of this stuff gets out there and it's a Ravens employee, it makes you wonder, how long has this been going on? When did they meet? How has this happened? All of this shit. And it is bad news right now for Steve Smith Sr.
Yeah. I mean, this executive, he may want to talk to his wife a little bit more to find out even more details, because he's putting Steve Smith out there. But what about your wife? She seemed to be having a very, very good time with Steve Smith. And they're probably right. She won't be Mrs. Whoever she is, Martinez, any longer.
And how long has this been going on? Is this going back to his days when he was playing for the Ravens? Is that how he met her? And this has been going on for years? Because Steve Smith has been retired for quite some time now. Or did he meet her, after he retired and he's, doing stuff for NFL Network on the field, maybe, got introduced that way. But I think the big question here is, how long has this been happening? If this has been happening for like 5 or 6 years and he just found out, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. And like, even in the post, right, he took over he logged into his wife's Facebook to post this, obviously. Mm-hmm. I believe I violated some fraternization rules by hooking up with Steve at the training facility, and tags Baltimore Ravens in it. This is the guy, Antonio Martinez, who posted all this. Now, I think the initial Twitter account that he put out there has been suspended, maybe because of some of the stuff that he revealed and the post that he put out and the video that he posted of his call with Steve Smith. Who knows if it got flagged down or not, but a lot of drama for an old man like Steve Smith Sr. to get caught up in.
Go back to that Facebook post. Hold on. My husband has bought me a house. I stood by my side after I had been arrested for domestic violence twice.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Obviously, this is all coming from the husband posting this. Very one-sided, clearly.
Sure.
And we have to take all of it with a grain of salt. It's someone who's really fucking pissed that he just found out his wife's been cheating on him. But Yeah. He kept tagging Antonio Brown because he wanted Antonio Brown to talk about it. That's why.
Right.
That's why he's talking, because he felt Antonio Brown would be someone who would spread his message out there. But it's fucking nuts, man. That's nuts.
Crazy.
Antonio Martinez crashing out.
I mean, I don't blame him, dude. I do not blame him.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's people when they find out someone's cheating on them, they fucking kill them, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, like, very upsetting thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and ultimately by putting all of that out there, it's very embarrassing to the person who's putting that out there as well. Because you're stepping out on you with a chunky Steve Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Sending fucking it's like this. Fucking that's gonna be a meme, bro. That's gonna be a meme for a long time. Anytime somebody sends a risky text message, that's gonna be out there. But yeah, I think Antonio Brown, somebody said AB posted on Twitter. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Antonio Brown did talk about it. Antonio Brown, AB. Man, Ravens Justin Tucker could be a possible release this offseason. His new NFL rumor, by the way. Let's see if I can find what. So the video got taken down, right? So I don't know if I can technically show the video, but the video was the guy calling Steve Smith Sr., be like, "Hey, Steve, you've been fucking my wife, bro. You've been fucking my wife. You got anything to say?" And all you hear is kind of like, "I'm sorry." That's all he said. He didn't say anything else. He just stayed silent while this guy berated him for like 90 seconds, and then he hung up.
Wow.
But this is AB. I'm sorry. Here we go. What the fuck? This is it, actually. This account no longer exists, right? Is that the wife? Chick. This is the wife, by the way, that Steve Smith was having sex with, apparently, allegedly. What the fuck I got to do with it, he says. Hashtag CTESPN. So he did retweet it. The guy got exactly what he wanted when it came to that. But man, fucking crazy. Crazy story.
Yeah.
Wild stuff, man.
Wild shit.
And you got the Justin Tucker situation surrounding Baltimore, too.
The Justin Tucker thing... more people, since we first talked about that, more people, I believe, have come forward with it. The reason I saw it is because AB said, "Justin Tucker, welcome to the Cleveland Browns."
Yeah.
But the Justin Tucker thing is pretty wild. And it became much more credible when you saw all of these social media posts that were dug up from like 2019, 2020, 2021. Saying, yeah, Justin Tucker's been kicked out of all the massage parlors in Baltimore for getting happy endings and forcing himself on. Like, those were old posts. Those are like 5-year-old things that came out. So once those came out and didn't get attached to it, that story felt like it had a lot more credibility than just a story that comes out in allegations. But he would be a good fit on the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I think it's looking more and more likely that the Ravens are going to have to cut Justin Tucker.
I don't know, man. Like, look. We've seen people fucking, like, be involved in people's murders. They don't get cut from teams, And
that was the Baltimore Ravens too.
That was the Baltimore Ravens as well. So I get it. It's just, man, it's wild. Justin Tucker's performance might be a better reason to move off of him than anything else.
Yeah, last year. Yeah.
And you do have to wonder how much of Justin Tucker's performance this year was based on if he knew this story was coming out.
Yeah.
Something he got seemed off with him. So I don't know.
Yeah, totally plausible.
Big D-Walk says, sitting here in a damn airport, no better podcast to pass the time. Wish I could smoke up. Well, I'm glad that we're at least the last option. NDI for $2, unrelated. But did you see the new Cheech and Chong?
No.
Nope,
I can't say I have seen the new Cheech and Chong.
Nope.
Can't say I've seen it. Speaking of former NFL players, Steve Smith found himself in a little bit of hot water, certainly. But there was another former NFL player, an NFL punter, who was in the headlines over the past couple days. And once again, it's for political reasons, because Chris Kluwe went on a rant against Donald Trump and MAGA and all of these things at a city council meeting, to the point where he actually had to be arrested. And now he's doubling down on everything that he said. Former NFL punter Chris Kluwe arrested after protesting MAGA plaque at California City Council meeting. Ex-NFL punter Chris Kluwe was arrested at a city council meeting in Huntington Beach, California, after protesting a Make America Great Again sign at Huntington Beach Public Library. The sign would read, "Magical, alluring, galvanizing, and adventurous." The words would spell out the acronym MAGA. "Through hope and change, our nation has been built back better to the golden era of making America great again." Kluwe appeared before the all-Republican Huntington Beach City Council, where he linked MAGA supporters to Nazis.
What?
Huntington Beach is very red.
Yeah, let's just watch a little bit of this.
Unfortunately, it's clear that this council does not listen, so instead I'm going to take my time to say what MAGA has stood for these past 3 weeks. MAGA stands for trying to erase trans people from existence. MAGA stands for resegregation and racism. MAGA stands for censorship and book bans. MAGA stands for firing air traffic controllers while planes are crashing. MAGA stands for firing the people overseeing our nuclear arsenal. MAGA stands for firing military veterans and those serving them at the VA, including canceling research on veteran suicide. MAGA stands for cutting funds to education, including for disabled children. MAGA is profoundly corrupt, unmistakably anti-democracy, and most importantly, MAGA is explicitly a Nazi movement. You may have replaced...
Like, explicitly a Nazi movement. You can hear everybody, like, he's going on his fucking tangent. Everyone's just sitting there waiting through. And as soon as he says a Nazi movement, you can hear everybody is like, "Oh, come on, you fucking retarded punter. You bitch. You fucking cocksucker."
Is explicitly a Nazi movement. You may have replaced a swastika with a red hat, but that is what it is. I will now engage in the time-honored American tradition of peaceful civil disobedience. Get the heck. Get out.
What a fucking moron.
What a fucking loser. Like, what an absolute loser. But he's in the news again for the first time in a long time. Chris Kluwe isn't backing down after arrest for MAGA protest. Somebody's got to step up. Look, all you did was fucking embarrass yourself, Chris Kluwe. Yep. It's embarrassing enough that you're a punter, the weakest position in the NFL. But now to go and do something like this and say such insane, ridiculous bullshit. I imagine Chris Kluwe is probably very active on Blue Sky, not only just a leftist haven, but a pedophile haven. Big Venn diagram of overlap there on Blue Sky, which is why he's just repeating these talking points. But it really is sad. And I guess this is the most attention he's gotten in probably quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And you said Huntington Beach is pretty red. Obviously, all Republican city council, right, Beardo?
Yeah. Huntington Beach is very Republican. And that's why you will get a lot of people on Main Street in Huntington protesting. You get a lot of weirdos out there. But then you also have your fair share of, like, your Trump people out there. And people also trying to, like, preach the gospel and stuff, and, like, literally on the sidewalks. And then you'll have your counter protest where people are fucking shouting with their fucking rainbow flags and shit. But for the most part, Republican Beach is very red.
Huntington Beach.
What did I say?
Republican Beach.
Well, pretty much it is.
Yeah.
Pretty much it is. Yeah, Huntington Beach, my bad.
But congratulations, Chris Kluwe. You stopped MAGA right in its tracks by spewing a bunch of nonsense and then by intentionally getting arrested and dragged out of a city council meeting. You did it, buddy. That was it. Elon Musk, Donald Trump, everybody, they're just done now. They're giving up because of Chris Kluwe's bravery. God, how fucking pathetic.
Wow.
Stephen De Leon for 2, talk about the Cowboys now.
It's not football season.
I mean, what do you want to know about the Cowboys? The most milquetoast, lame coaching hire in this entire offseason cycle.
Yeah. We got a new coach. That's the only story.
Which is just right along the lines of what we expected from Jerry. We knew Jerry isn't going to bring a strong coaching personality in there because he wants to be able to run the show. I think Mike McCarthy was even too much for him, and that's why he's gone. And like all he wants is a guy who's going to do exactly what he wants and not really push back at all. And that's what he has with Brian Schottenheimer. So enjoy paying Dak $60 million a year. I can imagine the Hodge twins do a video on Steve. Maybe.
Sure.
AJ Gutrung for 5. I just want to say we can't have the Indians or the Redskins, but the NHL can have the Blackhawks. You're goddamn right. That's first of all, the Blackhawks logo is one of the coolest logos in sports.
It is pretty awesome.
That's really the only time I've gotten into hockey very much in my life was when the Blackhawks were going on those couple Stanley Cup runs. It was exciting. A lot more people cared about it in the area at that time. It's not to say people never do. There's always a hardcore contingent of Blackhawks fans in the city, but I would say it typically goes in terms of like excitement levels and things like that. For me, it feels like it's Bears, Cubs, Bulls, Blackhawks, White Sox. White Sox way down. Just for the record. It is always Bears, though. Always fucking Bears. Where the fuck did I go? Burn. Kluwe, you couldn't polish Jack Fox, Detroit Lions quarterback 3 and part-time punters nut cup. Part-time quarterback 3, QB 3, and part-time punters nut cup. Thank you, Burn. Stephen De Leon, my family's all Cowboys fans. That's why I asked. I want to hear you guys talk crap about how bad they are.
Yeah, they fucking stink.
I still want to know how Stephen De Leon, shout out West Texas, is a Buffalo Bills fan.
Bandwagon, probably.
What bandwagon?
No, just, been a playoff team for the past few years. Josh Allen. Maybe he's in love with Josh Allen.
Maybe. I was going to say if he's a bandwagon guy, like we all know, like fucking growing up in like the 90s for me, you could tell the bandwagon fans because they were Yankees, Cowboys, and fucking Bulls fans. And it's like, oh, okay, got it. So these 3 fucking dominant sports teams you just happen to become fans of, you bandwagon fuck. I didn't want to
jump ship from the Bulls to the Lakers.
Fucking team. Same thing, like when the Cubs won in 2016, it all of a sudden became very popular a lot of places. And it's not to say the Cubs aren't a very popular franchise already. They all have been. But all of a sudden, everybody started fucking showing up. I don't want you bandwagon bitch here. 108 years we didn't win. No time for bandwagoners. But to be fair for the Cubs, they have always had a pretty big national presence. I think a lot of that had to do with the broadcasts on WGN and things like that. Because, other than your local team, if you wanted to watch baseball, you saw the Braves. What was it, TBS, John? WGN. Braves on TBS and the Cubs on WGN. No,
Cubs on WGN. Yeah. Braves on TBS or TNT.
Yeah, so that was a lot of people became fans of those teams for that reason. Stephen De Leon for you, been a fan since the first Super Bowl loss. I'm 44. That's a funny way to put it, since the first Super Bowl loss. But I was hoping.
So he is a bandwagon.
I was hoping and praying and begging that the fucking Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen would take down the Chiefs, man. I wanted to see Josh Allen in the Super Bowl so badly.
Me too.
It's always an itch here. Maybe.
We'll see. We'll see if their window wasn't closing last year. Is their window closing this year?
That's what you said last.
I know.
Before the season, you were like, the Bills, the window's done. It's over. They're going to suck this year.
I didn't say they're going to
Josh Allen
suck.
wins MVP.
Yeah. There's only so much losing you can do in the playoffs before you got to do something. Rebuild. Get a new coach. Got to do something up there in Buffalo because it ain't working.
Matt Shea, as I said, I think that the coaching was one of the biggest problems in that game against the Chiefs. Like the play calling, I thought was abysmal. I don't think Josh Allen played very well. I think that even some of the passes that he did complete were off target, and things like little
continuing
little wide receiver screen out to the side that he missed throws. Guy has to come back behind the line of scrimmage to get it, missed time, things like that.
And then continuing to run that QB sneak to the left side when it wasn't working, and they just continued to do it.
Yeah, I think that, and we could have arguments about that fourth down. Did he make it? Didn't he make it? All day long. I still maintain that I think he probably got an inch over it, but you couldn't see it and you couldn't prove it. And there's no fucking way anybody actually saw it. But ultimately it's because they ran that same fucking play that it got stuffed multiple times. Despite Tony Romo's dumb, retarded ass saying, "Oh, the Buffalo Bills, they got this tush push, Jim, and they, it's unstoppable. It's unstoppable." One, it wasn't even a tush push.
It's not even a tush push, yeah.
And two, it continued to get stopped time after time after time. While Tony Romo continued to say that.
The Chiefs would stack their right side of their defensive line, and they just kept running it. They just kept running the same play, and it wasn't working.
Did you see Chris Jones line up basically sideways, trying to stop the Eagles' tush push?
Yeah.
They did everything they could. They couldn't stop that one, though.
Nope. But when you got Saquon and Goddard pushing Jalen Hurts through, Jalen Hurts who can squat like 700 fucking pounds, it's tough to stop it.
John Getz for a buck. Hell, talk about the Steelers. Stafford coming in, Rodgers, Wilson again, Daniel Jones, all the above. They fight it out. Well, it's not going to be Russell Wilson. That sounds
to Minnesota. Is that what he was saying?
No, the Steelers.
Oh, the Steelers. Oh,
it's not going to be Russ.
They already said that they're not bringing him back, and he doesn't want to go. I think Russ is going to Las Vegas. I think he's going to reunite with Pete Carroll at the Raiders.
God, what a fucking mess. I think it seems to most people like Stafford is going to end up the guy there.
In Pittsburgh?
In Pittsburgh. That's the way a lot of people are talking right now. That's the way a lot of people feel about it right now. And it'd be interesting to see what happens. I have heard the Daniel Jones stuff. I don't think, to me, Daniel Jones and Justin Fields are close to the same person. One's a little more athletic than the other. But I don't know why you would bring Daniel Jones in there. That would be a very Steelers-ish thing to do. Like the Steelers of what we've seen the past couple of years. Like, there would be no reason to do that, but I guess they could.
I think the Vikings are interested in keeping Daniel Jones, from what it sounds like.
As a backup bitch?
As a backup to J.J. McCarthy, yeah.
Not a terrible backup to have. Not a terrible backup to have.
Yeah, not at all.
And then John Getz for another buck. Cowher lost for years in the playoffs before breaking through. The Penguins changed coaches twice with the same core and won Stanley Cups. Bills can win anytime. Yeah, they got to look inward and admit to themselves that they and I think they did a very good job of that, unlike the Texans. In the aftermath, the Texans, all they did was try to blame every fucking official because they follow a couple retarded accounts on Twitter. The Bills took a lot of ownership when it came to that fucking loss, which I appreciate and respect. James Cook got brought on and he was like, "Man, what do you think of these calls?" And James Cook was like, "Man, y'all need to shut the fuck up about the refs. Like, it don't matter. You got to go out there and play." I wish more normal people could actually recognize that as well. Joe Man for 5. I'm a Ravens fan, so I'm biased. But even then, I can recognize Lamar didn't deserve last year, but man, he really did this year. At least it's even now. And that's kind of what my thing is. The arguments that were used to give Lamar Jackson the MVP last year were then flipped around to try to get him, like by activists at ESPN, were then flipped around to try to get it to him this year. He had the best year he's ever had this year. He had the best year of his career. Way better in his other MVP seasons. But the arguments they made about why he should get it last year favored Josh Allen. And, Josh Allen won. And I think deservedly so based on the things we've established that they're looking for. Stephen De Leon, we need to sign a good defensive pass rusher. Yeah, Von Miller's a little too fucking old at this point. Seems like he's only out there for like 12 snaps a game. Rest of the Cripple 5, Red Sox have won more World Series than the Yankees this season.
What?
So now the losers have to copy them with facial hair to try to be relevant again. Sad.
What?
Do you mean this century? I think he probably means this century.
It's 3-2.
Yeah.
If you're going by this century, Red Sox.
That's my guess of what he meant. Not trying to put words in your mouth, Ressa, but that's just what I think. Joe Man for 5. Also, why the fuck was Josh Allen playing better with a broken hand than he was when he was healthy? Man needs to hurt his hand again. I don't know. But I think that's going to do it for us today, guys. We appreciate you joining us. And maybe, like Beardo, you guys will find yourself watching a little more hockey than you usually do. But yeah, there's a lot of spring training action going on right now, so that's exciting for those of us who like spring training baseball.
Yep.
But what do you got going on, Beardo?
Nothing. I'm gonna watch that clip of the reporter getting hit in the face with the hockey puck about 5 more times. Oh fuck! And I'm gonna watch some baseball and I'm gonna watch some hockey tonight and just hang out.
John, what do you got going on, man? What do you guys got going on in Black and White Sports?
Oh, no, not much. Same old thing. Drops videos later. About to go eat though.
Hell yeah.
Stephen De Leon, Notre Dame rules all. They didn't rule the national championship game. They got their asses fucking handed to them like the cocksuckers they are. But thank you, Stephen De Leon. Double Hawk for 5. Utah Hockey Club is a boring name for a team. All jokes aside, what do you think would be a good name for Utah's hockey team? I think the best one would be the Utah Sister Wives. I think that would perfectly encapsulate the state and the energy that they're trying to bring. The Utah Sister Wives. John Getz for Bucks. Steelers need a better O-line for Stafford. Their one O-lineman got hurt last year. The others got to keep playing for the wrong side. Got to keep Stafford from dying back there. I do agree. I don't know how long Stafford's able to handle it with that line being as dysfunctional as they were. He's fucking old, man. He's fucking old.
Mm-hmm.
But that is going to do it for us. Thank you guys for joining us. A big shout out to Prize Picks. Once again, go check them out right here. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code GG to get $50 instantly when you play 5. Whether you're playing basketball, baseball, hockey, whatever. Go win some money out there. And we will talk to you later. Bye, everybody.